harbored it for many years and finally feel ready to expose it. My family has never had cable television. That's right, in 17 years of life, I have never lived in a home with access to cable TV. As you can imagine, this caused me a lot of stress when I was younger. I went to school and had to pretend that, like my peers, I too watched Hannah Montana every day, and that I too could recite the words to every Jonas Brothers song. In reality, any information I had on these topics, I garnered through conversations with my friends. What I really did when I got home from school and in my spare time was read. I was a voracious reader. I had an appetite for words that simply could not be satiated. It was as though books were candy and I was a kid with a sweet tooth. I simply could not get enough. And because I read so much, I fell in love with books. I fell in love with the way they felt beneath my fingers. I fell in love with the characters, with the plots, and with the authors. And so while my classmates idolized teen stars, I idolized characters such as Cam Jansen and authors such as Eva Ibbotson. To this day, English is my favorite subject. I still love the feeling of a book beneath my fingers and resist the use of Kindles and Nooks. I still fall in love with plots and characters and authors. And so despite the humiliation and shame I experienced as a child without access to Disney and Nickelodeon, I have since come to appreciate my parents' unconventional decision to run a cable-free household. Looking back, it's clear to me that had television been an option, I would have, as would any child, have been attracted to its shiny screen, and I most likely would have exchanged the alternate reality that I found in books for the alternate reality that I could find in television. And as a result, I would not be the English and literature lover that I am today. Phew, it feels really good to get that secret off my chest. But I didn't tell you that story for therapeutic purposes. I told you that story because I think it contains a really important message. And that message is that our actions and our decisions have the power to change not only our lives, but the lives of those around us. Our actions can set off a chain of events that will alter someone's life for the better or for the worse. And when our actions, either consciously or unconsciously, change someone's life for the better, we become enablers of their success. In the case of my parents, they unknowingly sparked my literary interests, thus enabling me to lead my life according to my strong passion for words. In a sense, they became my mission enablers. Wait, what's a mission enabler? A mission enabler is someone behind the scenes of a mission who helps push it along and make it possible, or perhaps even instigates it in the first place. Now, the term mission enabler, which I came up with for the purpose of my explanation, is actually a lot simpler than it sounds. It's pretty much synonymous with helper or aid, and refers to everyone and anyone that helps make someone else's goals possible. The actions that qualify someone as a mission enabler can be as simple as driving a friend to music practice so that they can pursue their love for the trombone, or as grand as funding your friend's next business venture. No matter the extent to which the action affects you, or affects the other person, as long as it's making their goals possible, it's valid and it's important. I believe that we are all called to be mission enablers at some point in our lives. And it might be in different ways and at different times, but it's inevitable that it's going to happen to every single person in this room. In fact, for some of us, it might happen multiple times a day. If you think about it, anytime someone asks us for a favor or asks us for an opinion, they're truly asking us to help them accomplish something, to help them accomplish their goals. In my case, I didn't even realize I was being called to be a mission enabler until I was well into the process of helping someone else achieve their goals. Meet my good friends, Marcus, Gigi, and Max. I met these guys many, many years ago when their mother, a children's book and a young adult author, was a colleague of my father's. Over the years, I grew very close with their family and eventually started babysitting for them regularly. And thus, I was selfishly disappointed when 2 years ago they informed me they would be moving to Chicago so that their father could start working at the University of Chicago. My spirits were lifted, however, when that winter I received a text from my mother asking if I would be willing to come out for the summer to help with the kids. I was thrilled and immediately accepted the offer. I'll admit, however, that my initial excitement came out from a pretty selfish place. I was thinking about how I would get to go to Chicago, to a new city, Chicago, and experience it without my parents, which for a 15-year-old is pretty darn exciting. I wouldn't have to pay for airfare, I wouldn't have to pay for a hotel, and I would actually make money doing this because they were going to pay me. It was a dream come true. When I arrived in Chicago that July, I began to realize that it wasn't going to be a self-serving and fun vacation. It became immediately clear to me that this family was in an extremely hectic time period, and thus I was there for a reason. The kids were at an age where they required pretty much constant stimulus and structure, and their mom was doing her best to provide that for them, but was also juggling several deadlines at her publication house. Their dad had just started his new job and was thus pretty much occupied with that. When I witnessed all that was going on in their household, I realized I was there to make sure they achieved their goals. I was there to make sure that the kids had a fun, productive, and safe summer while their parents got the necessary time and effort into their jobs. I was certainly gaining valuable skills and having a great experience myself, let me make that clear, but my essential purpose for being there was to enable this wonderful, yet super busy family and their various missions. I was, by definition, a mission enabler. But here's the somewhat surprising part. Despite the fact that I was in Chicago primarily to help other people achieve their goals, I left Chicago feeling very fulfilled and as though I too had accomplished something. And so I asked myself, is it possible that while helping other people achieve their goals, I might have succeeded in accomplishing my own missions? And as I reflected on my experience, I realized that I had in fact accomplished missions every single day. Each time I got the kids to camp on time was a mission accomplished. Each time I got the kids to eat their vegetables at dinner was a mission accomplished. Each time I got them to bed on time was a huge mission accomplished. And above all, each time I received a hug from one of the kids or a thank you from their parents, I viewed it as a huge mission accomplished. You see, in helping others achieve their goals and accomplish their missions, I too had succeeded in accomplishing my own mini missions, and I left feeling extremely fulfilled. This isn't a new idea. We've all heard the sentiment that it is through helping others that we truly help ourselves. That is how we grow as individuals and gain fulfillment. But I will admit that before my experience in Chicago, I was kind of reluctant to accept this idea. I thought maybe this is just a hokey way to get people involved in community service. And it wasn't until I witnessed it firsthand and experienced it firsthand that I realized just how true that sentiment is. So my experience as a mission enabler took me to another part of the country, and it took me out of my life for a few weeks. But that's an extreme example, and it's not always the case. Stone Ridge, in fact, does a great job of providing every single upper school student the opportunity to be a mission enabler through their social action programs. Every other Wednesday, when we go to our respective sites within the larger metropolitan area, we are given the opportunity to help others, other individuals, and other organizations achieve their goals and missions. We go to food kitchens and cut up vegetables so that the chefs there can provide meals for a large homeless population. We go to schools and read to children so that their teachers can be successful in providing a well-rounded education. We go to nursing homes and talk to the elderly so that they have an engaging and fun experience. Regardless of where we go or what we do, we are given small tasks, or missions, if you will, and we complete these missions with a sense of importance in order to achieve a greater goal. In doing so, we all take on the role of mission enabler and gain a sense of fulfillment. As you can probably tell by now, the idea of being a mission enabler is something that I've thought a lot about. And the more I think about it as an idea, the more connections I make between the idea and my real life experiences. And so I encourage you all to think about a time where you may have been a mission enabler. And if, like me, that experience gave you a sense of fulfillment and pride, I urge you to keep doing what you're doing. If perhaps, when you look back, you're struggling to recall a time when you really helped push someone else's mission along, I encourage you to put some time and thought into seeking out which mission you would like to aid in, because the options are endless. Above all, I hope you have gained an understanding that being a mission accomplisher is just as important and just as fulfilling as being a mission being a mission enabler is just as important as being a mission accomplisher. Thank you.